What's going on, folks? This is episode 5 here of The Tread. We have made it to actually 5 episodes and have not been kicked off YouTube, so that is a plus. I'm Nick Kiraskevich, host of The Tread, owner of Cyber Serpents and Cyber Tees, and this week we are talking about my favorite recessive, the puzzle project, with the one and only Kevin Fink of KDF Reptiles, the man, the myth, the legend of the VPI Axanthic Puzzle.
How's it going, Nick?
Yeah, how's it going? So we got people.
Doing good, man.
I feel like people are being a little bit slow straggling in here today. So I don't know if people are still hungover from the holiday weekend or something. But people start popping in the chat, say hi if you're on. We're live here on air talking puzzle here, hottest recessive project. So for those of you, like I said, that don't know, I feel like, for me, I feel like Kevin's probably one of, I would say that was handful of people that really got into puzzle. I would say, pretty early. I mean, you've been working with puzzle now for, how many years?
So 2011 is when I bought into it to get my first pair of hats.
Yeah.
Produced the first visual in 2013. So, I've pretty much from the get-go.
Yeah. I think last year was puzzle was I think like 12 or 13 year, whatever anniversary of the, the recessive project. And,
right.
I think
2009.
Yeah. I think for me, what's been intriguing is that, it's been one of those projects that it's like, it popped and I felt like we saw a little bit of steam, like late, like teen 2000s, like 2017, 2018, 2019. And then it just kind of fell off the map after 2019. I don't know if COVID did that or what. And then all of a sudden come 2021-ish, 2022, everyone starts, popping puzzle stuff out again. And now, like we were just talking backstage, it's probably, I would say, the hottest recessive, on the market right now. I don't know if there's really much that compares to it.
No, not yet. That's like Sean said a long time ago, it's the next clown.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious too, because when I look at the market, obviously, so like most of my collection stuff, I always like all the dark stuff. But when I see a lot of the puzzle stuff in general, you see a lot of people layering on a lot of those bright stuff, a lot of fire, a lot of vanilla, a lot of that, real bright enhancing type genes. I've seen a lot of special, obviously the Bell complex, which I think everyone just throws that in first for any recessive. From
right.
Your perspective, where do you really see, where do you see, I think, kind of the differentiating factor? Do you think that puzzle is actually going to play really well with a lot of this dark stuff? Because obviously, I know you've got, the Cine puzzles, the Sterling puzzles, that you've made the pewter puzzles, but realistically, there has not been a lot of dark stuff put on the market. I think there's a ton of potential there, though, still.
Right, I do too. And it's also kind of where, I guess, coming into figuring out what I've currently got floating in my puzzle kind of dictates what I'm going next, the way I'm going. So, does it have the daddy, the weirdo, whatever it's called? Does it have it in that animal? If it does, I'm probably not going the dark route with that animal unless it has no pastel to it.
Right.
I've noticed from the animals that I've made that are pastel, as they get older, they get brighter. So you're basically taking out the dark animal that you're wanting to get. Now I've seen some of the chocolate stuff that's been made. My question is it going to do more than just kind of like the saddles down the back, the side pattern, or where are we going to really change it? Is it going to start bringing incorporation with belly to the back? Where are we doing? So I think there's a lot of different things we can take this project. I think there's a lot of different ways it can go, but we're infant. There's 12 years at this point with this. Nothing's really out there.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, thanks for joining us. Thanks for popping in. Got to get more people coming on the chat, man. I don't know. Everyone's sleeping here today.
It's me.
Yeah. No, I think it's probably me.
Oh, dude.
It's all my tarantula customers from a few weeks. It's probably all the tarantula folks from a few weeks ago, but that's a story for another day. We'll have an open forum chat in May to talk about that. But I went and blew up all over a bunch of the forums on some of that stuff. So no, exactly. When we look at someone obviously going into puzzle, obviously I think from my perspective, there's obviously you did the VPI Axanthic puzzles, and I think it's you and there's one guy in Michigan that made it. I think correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep. Yeah, I know for a fact it was one. Alex, I think was his name. Don't get me. Like I said, I don't get on Facebook enough to really notice.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was what his name was. But he did a great one. Like I said, it took me 7 years to get there. It was a process of making the double hets and growing them up, and then missing 2 years in a row just with a single female. And third year finally happened. But I got lucky enough. I got 3 of them this year, and they look great.
Right. And I think that's a key thing, because I know, like, me and you were talking at Tinley, and we were talking with my buddy Mike as well. Like, there were so many people, I felt like, at NARBC that were like, I need puzzle, I need puzzle, I need puzzle. And I even know, like,
well, that was the thing that I kept hearing over the weekend.
Yeah.
So, like you said, 2021, it kind of fell off. And I was into the 17, 18, 19 when, man, it was booming. There it was.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, what happened? Are we, what's going on? Is the project not doing something? Like, I've been producing stuff now long enough to know that if there's any kinks or problems with it, I would probably think I'd run into that. So I just didn't know what was going on. But then, like I said, this past March, you talk about just everybody walking up and asking me, hey, do you have any puzzles? What do you have? The only thing I'm left with now is your normal pastel, sterling, things like that. But, I mean, you got to get your base stuff whenever you're first getting into it.
No,
but I'm basically, at this point, I've sold off all my higher-end stuff. And I'm down basically to the stuff I produced in 15 and 16.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of like what I was telling some people was like, there were so many people, and like, I know, like, I probably spend way too much time on social media, but like, even when I'm on there, like, people will be pinging me about puzzle stuff, and like, well, they're like, yeah, like, do you know anyone? Like, I'm looking, like, I had a guy about a month ago. He's like, yeah, I'm looking for puzzle. I'm like, do you know who has, they're like, do you know who has some puzzle? I'm like, well, like, KDF's got some puzzle. Like, here's like 2 other people that got some puzzle that I know. And they're always like, well, yeah, but I want this, and they're asking for 5, 6 gene type puzzles. And, I think that's the thing that people need to realize, like you were saying with the VPI Axanthic puzzles. I mean, a lot of people have to realize, like, when you get into a recessive project like this, and we're getting into one, I would say that's hot, and still that there's limited stock that's being available at the time. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's okay to buy a pastel puzzle. If you don't like the pastel, you can breed it out. Yeah. I mean, I remember, talking with you back when I first got into it and stuff. I mean, I remember at the time, I mean, the bamboo puzzle that was on the market, which was the first girl I bought, I mean, she was the best thing that was on the market. That wasn't just a straight puzzle. And I was like, well,
because it was pastel, super pastel,
yep.
And you might have had a yellow belly. At that point, there was nothing. But I mean, I can't. It's kind of hard for me to stop making pastel puzzles and super pastel puzzles when you start with a super pastel het boy and a pure het female. So I mean, you're kind of you're getting there somewhere. I'm trying to get the cinnamon out and the pastel out, so it's slow to process. But like I said, you can get it out a lot sooner, a lot easier.
Right. Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think that's kind of one of the things. I think with everyone with recessive project, I see so many people with puzzle, and they're looking and looking and looking. It's not that they don't have the funds; they're looking for that needle in the haystack, and they're looking, that one that doesn't exist. And I always tell people, like, definitely, like, save your money, buy a good example. Like, don't buy the shittiest example you've ever seen. But
absolutely,
like, if it's not perfect, it's not, if it doesn't have the 5 genes that you want, just buy it, go make your hets. And there's nothing wrong, I think. Like we were even talking backstage, there's nothing wrong with buying your hets or even taking a chance. Like, look, not everyone's going to go, and there's no puzzle test out for genetics, but like take your gamble on 66% hets. I mean, shit, I've had a couple of 50% hets prove out at this point, 66% hets. I mean, it's one of those things I feel like, the market just needs to realize, like, figure out what your budget is, figure what you want, and figure out how much of a gambler you really are.
Yep. I think what's happened is a lot of people have they forgot about the process, and they just want to get to the ending product.
Right. Yeah, I think, that's, I think, kind of one thing in the industry, and honestly, it's part of the reason why I started moving and shifting, kind of trying to get to puzzle, at least for me, because there were as many people working with it, is once a project goes like crazy mainstream, I feel like sometimes, and you have everybody and their mother, and like, look, like I said, I like Desert Ghosts. I have a lot of Desert Ghosts. But then you see so many people that they just want to keep cutting the corner, and they keep cutting the corner. They buy the next piece, and they buy the next piece. And I'm like, so you just bought all your hets and you bought your visual and you made it. And but there's no process, there's no process of you making your own double hets. And I think that people don't realize that, and that's why I wanted to highlight that piece with the VPI Axanthic puzzles, because I know we've talked about it. I mean, you're not just gonna, hit and make double recessives overnight and, badass animals overnight. It takes time.
took me
takes
7
time.
years to have. It was 7 years to
Yeah,
get those.
exactly.
So I mean, but you talk about visual puzzles. For my first one, I bought a het male, and I bought a 66 pos het female, and I proved her out, and then I bought 4 other pos het females from Tim that proved out. So I mean, it just, like I said, I proved out 2 of the 4. So at that point, it was worth it. Yeah, I missed on the other 2, but hey, you know, you got to play your game sometimes.
Exactly. I think that's kind of the thing. I think, you know, they always make the joke, you know, to be a successful reptile breed, you got to spend $1 million to make $1 million or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
you got to spend something for sure.
You know, and I kind of tell people, and some people, you know, we had a guy, I mean, it was like 2 shows ago, you know, and I remember he was asking, he goes, I don't understand. He goes, how there can be a $7,000 or $10,000 snake. And I was like, well, I'm like, think about it with a dog. I'm like, to get a really good German Shepherd outside of the line breeding process of it, you can consistently produce a puppy every year at least once, you know, and dog people, you can correct me. I'm not a dog breeder, but you know, but ball pythons, I mean, realistically with some of these recessives, I mean, that's 7-8 years of time, rodents, rodent cleaning, rodent feeding, things going wrong, males not producing, possible slugs, egg bound, you know, all of those things that happen with breeding that I think that people don't realize. I think people just see the end product.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the extra stuff that they're not paying attention to. And that's the thing that I think it catches people. We're starting to see that with the 2020 group that came in.
Yeah.
You're starting to see them start to filter out whenever the ones that just can't cut it. I mean, there's nothing against it. There's people that just can't cut it. Right. But I mean, I think that kind of goes in the market to where we're at too. I mean, like I said, the finished product is where everybody's really gearing to go.
No, right. You know, and I think that's probably, I mean, hate to say it, but I mean, not everyone's got 50 grand cash that they're gonna go walk. Well, you know, I think, you know, people hear those stories. I mean, they do happen. Obviously, the 50 grand cash in the duffel bag for some of like crazy sunset stuff, but
it's few and far between.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I think I've always kind of looked at it as like you got like 2 meats of the market. You got your 500 under, that's kind of your pet market, and then you have your like 500 to 3,500, which is like either your, you know, your starter breeder, your mid-size breeder that's kind of that in between, or even your high-end breeders that are finding those like in between pieces. And then you have super high-end market that's 35 and up, which is you got to find the right person. You're not just going to find someone that's going to, you know, throw you a 5K cash for no reason.
Right. No, I've never seen one of those. So, I mean,
if anyone knows a customer like that, please share.
Send them my way.
Send them our way. Yeah, send them the, what is it, the 600s? I think we are in Tinley or something like that. There we go. Send them in the 600 rows. We want some of those folks.
We'd be glad to take that.
Exactly. So, you know, I know we were talking a little bit, you know, people are starting to finally file in. So we were talking, you know, it sounds like next 30 days, you got a lot of stuff dropping, a lot of stuff coming down the hatch for the puzzle project. I mean, where are you most excited about kind of taking it this year? Where's your kind of your next step as far as what you're willing to share? We always we always tied in something back.
Right. The only thing I'm willing to share will be the stuff that literally is ovulated or about, you know, past the ovulation point. So, hey, we're on our way here. But no, there's several things that I'm excited about. Like I've got a clutch I'm waiting for now. Like we were talking about, it's a pewter puzzle girl to a pastel sugar het. So, I mean, if that girl's definitely got the weirdo stuff to her. So I'm kind of intrigued to see if I can get a sugar puzzle, something with other combo to it. I've got 2 clutches with sugar puzzle stuff coming. They're both due as of today. So I was waiting for them to delay and then we haven't done it. So I've got those. I've got obviously butter puzzle stuff. I've got a banana pastel Mojave that's a head puzzle that's going to a red stripe head. So I'm taking head to head. Don't really like doing that too much, but I figure at this point that red stripe Mojave banana should be pretty fire. So I got to see exactly how bright that animal can be. I don't know. Like I said, I got that kind of stuff going. I've got G-stripe puzzle stuff possibilities on the ground. Double head to double head breeding. So we'll see if I can do something that way. I've got my Axanthic puzzle stock. This year has been kind of slower. The male bred everything last year, and then now this year doesn't really want to do anything. So it's kind of been an uphill battle with him. I've got a few things that will be starting to come out a little later in the year, but there's for sure 5 clutches that I've got coming that are just going to be between sugar, cinnamon, red stripe, banana, all visual puzzle combos and stuff like that. So,
and I think you brought up an interesting one that I know, obviously both of us have talked about that as well. I know we were talking about that too, the G stripe puzzle, which I think someone could correct me if I'm thinking of the wrong person. I think it was Bow that made it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but his had spider, and I know, like we were talking about, I think if it didn't have the spider, I'm really, as much as I don't like, I'll be the first person to say it, I don't like leopard and puzzle. Like leopard and puzzle is very, it's not that it's horrible, it's just it's very disappointing.
But it looks a lot like a leopard acid stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way I can put it. So that's what I've noticed from mine. I don't have any visuals, but I do have heads. But I haven't raced to make the visuals just because of what I've seen in the past.
Right. I'm very much as like I said, I don't really want to see a lot of leopard and puzzle. I do really want to see it in a G-stripe puzzle, because leopard and G-stripe is such a
really dark,
a bomb combo. And as well as with pattern back, I'm really curious. Is that the way to kind of unlock the gene that I feel like for, until maybe recently, until like maybe the past 4 years, right before then was like one of the codoms that people were just throwing in everything. So, I think that that's an interesting one. The other one I think is what I'm forgetting his name, ASR with the super stripe puzzle stuff. That's the other one.
That kind of got me excited seeing those, going, okay, maybe we're on to something with the G-stripe puzzle. Maybe. I mean, there's all things that can happen. It could come out and it's just a brown snake. I mean, there's so many different chances. I could just come out and it's just a white animal. I mean, there's anything and everything, but hopefully it does something like the Kiki ball kind of thing. Don't really know. Is it going to get more pattern, more jaggy? Hopefully we'll see this year.
Because I know, and I don't know if he produced them, because I mean, Will from RCR was going for tri-stripe puzzles, or at least making the double hats, I think back in like 21 or something like that. I don't know if he's produced those yet.
I don't think he has. I haven't heard that he has. I've talked to him at every show I see him at. He hasn't mentioned them yet. So like I said, unless he's got those things stuffed underneath somewhere, which I mean, it's possible.
he's probably gonna like join on, listen, then tomorrow pop out and be like, hey, guess what?
Oh, dude, I need to show those. Because I think that's got potential too, just because of what all it can do.
Well, I think that's the interesting one. I think either G-stripe or tri-stripe with puzzle, I think could be complete money. I think the question is which one. I think one's going to be great and one's going to be kind of because I just, from my perspective, that's what I've seen a lot of, even with just tri-stripe and G-stripe. You look at tri-stripe clown's like, to me, is nowhere near as impressive as like the Kiki ball with the G-stripe and the clown.
Absolutely.
So I think it's kind of one of those weird examples. And then I think Kyle Frost made G-stripe tri-stripes, I think last year or something. So they aren't the same thing, but it didn't really do much, or as much as, I think that anyone was hoping maybe it would do. But yeah, I mean, I guess outside of obviously the Axanthic puzzles now, double recessive wise, I mean, is there, obviously the Ultramil puzzles have been made. I think there's at least, a handful of people that have them. And then have pieces for
I did a
them.
caramel albino puzzle last year. It was all kinked when it came out of the egg. But I wasn't expecting to have caramel albinos. I had a pair of heads that I didn't know, and there they are. So like saying, I've sold the female, so I don't have to worry about having that no more. So you
almost wonder sometimes if some people that know that they had caramel in their collection are purposely putting into some of the really expensive projects and making sure that they sell just to get you pay big bucks, and then they know they're going to slow you down about a year or so.
Because then you got to redo your plans. Yeah. So like I said, I knocked it down. I've only found out it's been in 2 of my animals, so I'm not really worried about how much I've got out there, because it wasn't that much. So, but I did that one. Now, for most part, I've got this one animal that I'm not too sure what I've got. With the weirdo stuff being popped in my collection now that I've got confirmation on, it could be the pewter puzzle weirdo that's het clown. But it could be the triple or whatever. I mean, weirdo puzzle clown. I don't know. It's a weird looking animal. It's gotten brighter as it's aged. It doesn't look like any pewter puzzles I've ever hatched before. It's got a lot more head pattern to it. Normally, they don't have any kind of pattern on their heads when it comes to puzzles with the cinnamon. So I don't know. It's a boy, so I get to figure it out. I got a female clown that came out of the clutch that was really, really orange, really kind of crazy, jaggedy pattern. I'm really thinking that was a weirdo clown that I just got on that one.
Right.
It doesn't look like it's a visual puzzle anyway. So if it's het, it's het, but
Yeah.
that's the best it can be. But clown and puzzle to me has been kind of a really kind of a hiccup in the road, I guess you could say, because you're expecting it to do more than what it really does. And everything examples I've seen, there's really nothing that just overwhelmingly, oh my God, I got to have it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that's kind of where I've been. I mean, as well with it. I mean, I honestly think the best one I've seen is, I forget who it was. Someone in Europe posted just the puzzle clown.
Right.
That
Yep.
one was the best looking one.
Yep.
That I've seen.
So, and I haven't seen any, newer pictures of it, what it looked like when it aged or anything. So honestly, when it comes to mine, I'm just trying to look at what next phase for me. I've got the Axanthic puzzles. So obviously I'm working with the hypo puzzle stuff. I just don't have any visuals. So I just went ahead and kind of, instead of doing the hypo visual puzzle, I just went ahead and went to the True Ghost puzzle.
Ghost puzzle.
I've got pastel Axanthic double head hypo puzzle females that I'm sitting on right now. They're a year old.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just, I got to get my boy. That's all I'm waiting for. If I just hatch out my one male, that's it.
Yeah. No, I seem to be like, I have bad luck with hatching males. I always joke with people. I mean, I feel like last 2 years in a row, I've averaged roughly around 66% female, which, I mean, sounds great on paper.
Right. Absolutely.
It's a lot of free girls, but it's a lot harder, I think, that people realize to source your own male than to make your own male.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially
and then you got all these females that you hold back, and you got to wait 3 years for them to get there. And then what if they don't go in the third year? This is the fourth year, and then you're taking up rack space. And then, I don't know. There's a lot of back and forth there.
No, I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, I've had that GHI orange bell. I've just been bringing her to shows to sell her because I'm like, I'm done. I mean, it's year 4, and I'm just like,
gotta go.
Yeah, you've got to go. I kind of tell people, I'm like, I kind of have like this rule, like either between sizing or how many years you try and they don't go, or how many years you just kind of call it the fail to thrive, type of a thing. And I mean, I'll admit, I mean, I bought one of my original girls that I bought was one of those, oh, hey, we've tried breeding her 3 years. She's never gone. I bought it. I mean, she dropped, 7 eggs for me. Within 3 months.
That's a little trick that will work. You can take that animal, you can take it to a show with you. You don't ever have to put it on the table. Just leave it underneath the table. Let it get cold. Let it stay in that bag. Bring it home. As soon as you stick it in the rack, that thing will start breeding. It's the weirdest thing, but it works.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think, obviously the other thing too is, I mean, I know we were talking like leopard puzzle. Like leopard puzzle is disappointing. Acid puzzle, acid and confusion. They're disappointing. I know someone's going to probably shoot me in the foot and be like, oh, Canova's making all that, confusion, whatever. I'm like, he even admitted when he made the first one, like last year, the confusion leopard puzzle, he's like, well, this was disappointing. So, I mean,
I think it's got to be in the right combo too. And like I said before, the leopard acid kind of looks the same as what you're adding the puzzle to. So I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. I think it's got to be in the right combo. Now, what the right combo could be, nobody knows. I mean, we'll find it eventually.
Hidden Gene Woma, guys, right?
The Hidden Gene Woma Phantom Boy that I produced that visual puzzle, that thing turned out nice.
The Hidden Gene Woma puzzles are awesome in general. I mean, I just, I hate to say it. I mean, people need to get off that stigma. Oh, Hidden Gene Womas have wobble. Yes, they can have. Let's be clear. They can have wobble. Not all Hidden Gene Womas have wobble. Yes, you can't make supers, but I mean, it's probably out for me at least. It's one of probably the most badass dominance that you basically you can play with that obviously has some of those issues associated with it.
Right. Well, how much does a Hidden Gene Woma change the pattern just in one codon?
Right.
I mean, you don't have to add 4 or 5 to it to do something crazy. You add it to the right one, and it's doing something amazing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just always look back. I mean, you do something simple like the Hidden Gene Woma fire combos. I mean, back when those even first started coming out, I mean, just how they age over time. Obviously, it reduces some of the brown out with the Hidden Gene Woma, how Hidden Gene Woma can age. That's something I think for me, I mean, for the puzzle stuff, I mean, I'd really, if knock on wood, she's usually a real late goer. She usually doesn't start building until like October every year. So it's weird. If she actually starts building this year and goes back to back for the first time, I'd love to use my my Luciferno girl with my cryptic OD pastel puzzle boy. But that's wishful thinking. That'd be a real fun one.
I mean, cross them fingers.
Oh, right. All right. I mean, with people going live here, I mean, how many folks do we got here that are on live that are working with Puzzle right now? Drop your stuff in there. Sean, I know you're working with it. Come on, people, don't be shy. Yeah, see, Sean's saying the same thing. People snooze us on that hidden G Woma.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. You don't have to have a bunch of it, but
no,
yeah,
right.
I mean, it's one of those things. If you got 4 or 5 of them in your collection, that's nothing wrong.
No, exactly. I mean, I've got, I don't know, I think I have a decent amount, but not a ton. But
I probably got more than 4 to 5, but I mean, just small numbers.
No, right. Man, all these puzzle people were liking all the stuff all over Facebook. I mean, I think I shared this thing to like 25 groups or something like that, created the event. Man, all these people be joining, and then they're not even joining. Come on, puzzle folks, where are you right now?
Hey, man, I told you it's me.
They all got that, so I know you're not going to, are you going to Schaumburg?
No.
Okay, you're not going to Schaumburg, but
Nope.
I mean, if people are desperate and they're too lazy to go online and message you, yeah, they're flakes, like Nick said. Yeah, they're too much of flakes to message you online, and they need to see you in person to go pick up a puzzle. I mean, where are they gonna see you coming up?
Well,
I mean, where
the
kind of the next
show
shows?
I'm doing will be in Conroe in June. That's weekend, I think the 10th and 11th, Conroe with the Herp shows.
Conroe, is that
Conroe,
Texas?
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
There
and then you've also got another one in Shreveport, Louisiana. That's at the end of June. I think it's the 24th, 23rd, something like that.
Yeah.
It's 2 weekends after the Conroe one.
Yeah.
After that, I'll be at Arlington and stuff like that. Back to the bigger shows.
All right. Yeah, I mean, people have been telling me, I think it's the second week now, because Will was on at TJW. I mean, that was last week. He was talking about Louisiana as well. I mean, so I'm kind of curious here. I mean, Louisiana, I mean, how is that market down there? I mean, I've never gone down there. I mean, are people looking for puzzles down there? Are people looking for clowns? I mean, what's going on down there?
So the Louisiana market is kind of it's a toss-up market. I mean, the best way I can put it, it's you go down there, you might sell a puzzle. You might go down there and might sell a clown. You might go down there and sell neither of either and just make nothing but Kodoms and just basic. I've done Gonzalez show. That one was kind of a hit and miss show. Slidell show is always packed. It's always got people everywhere. But it's by the time they get to me, I guess they don't have any more. So I don't know. It's like Louisiana. I've sold one visual puzzle the entire time I've been in Louisiana.
Yeah.
But I kind of contribute that up to Tim. Has kind of got that reins when it comes to the whole puzzle stuff there. Plus Sean did. So I'm kind of, I'm backs against the wall on that one, and I'm not mad about it. So it's one of those deals.
Sean. I mean, Kevin's only. Sean, we should do a road trip too. But yeah, Kevin's right in my row, like 2 booths over. I keep hoping at some point, like every single time I've been like waitlisted now every single time. I'm hoping that at some point, if I ever actually get, can move up to 2 booths or something, maybe we can just like kind of commandeer that road out. Right. That way, then it's just like Hardwire, me, and then KDF. And it's like, all right, like.
Yep. No, we got the same end cap. I know I went ahead and paid for that. We got the same end cap again.
Yeah. I mean, I can't compete with those super normal guys, man. They just keep crushing my market.
Hey, man.
Those guys are funny guys, though.
They're great. I have no problems with them at all. Like I said, they're great.
Yeah.
They're fun to mess with.
No, they're.
When you get some interesting stuff that happens at the show, they're kind of fun to. Hey, did you see that?
No, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they were there with. I don't think I had to tell you about it. I mean, Sean knows about that. I think Chris probably knows as well, who's on here, and some people know. They were there when Clutch came over to my booth, and we're going toe to toe about why I wouldn't sign up for Clutch and stuff. Which that's a story for another day. Like I told people, I will start doing tech reviews and using my IT background to review some of these products in the space, but that's just I mean, those guys are funny. I mean, I think they got an incubator company now coming up, so I mean that'll be interesting.
Yep, they do. They had their incubators there, and they was trying to compete with Will Banks, and that wasn't going too good.
I don't know. I saw Will Banks roll every single one out that he rolled in, so
yeah, he did.
I don't think he had a good show.
he moved a bunch of them out. I don't know if they went to somebody, but
no, right.
Yeah, but I watched him roll them out.
Yeah. Yeah, but
it was weird seeing him not set up with any animals on his table.
Yeah,
that was kind
no,
of
it was odd. You know, it
Yeah.
was, but yeah, I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, obviously, if you're moving incubators and stuff, do what you got to do.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, right now in this market, I mean, what are you doing? Or was there 200 ball python people up there? It feels like.
Yeah.
What's just one more?
Yeah. All right, one more. Take them back to Texas. Oh, the lock was on the ground. Chris, when are you going to start making incubators, right? You're going to add that to your list. I'm just gonna bust his balls on that one there. See if he actually. But I mean, I think the other thing too is obviously, you know, we were talking. I mean, you've got your whole rodent business. You are in your rodent business right now.
Yeah, so, I'm in the office of it right now.
Exactly. And I think that's the other thing. I know, like, I've talked with like Sean with SRS, and like we're talking sometimes. I'm like, dude, man, I'm like, we should just buy some huge warehouse somewhere here in Illinois and just combine forces, because I mean, man, that rodent side, I tell you, I mean, that's a key piece, I think, to your customer market almost. You know, when you're driving, because not everyone's going to want to, you know, produce their own rodents. I don't produce my own rodents right now. I 100% rely on, you know, a good friend to produce this.
It's one of those deals. At this point, I looked at it. I didn't know how the market was going to go. I felt like, hey, what's the best way to go? Let me throw my money to keep me full-time doing this, because this is now my 6th year doing this. Let me do something. So I put my money into the rodents, and it's starting to pay off now. It's been 2 years, and it's starting to finally come around. So I mean, it's not like a lot of hard work, I can assure you that one.
No, right. I guess for everyone here, if there is anyone down the south and whatnot, I mean, do you ship rodents? Do you just contact KDF?
Them, but I mean, it depends on the order size. I don't mind meeting. I will meet halfway, go whatever I got to do. But I mean, at this point in time, they can message me if the order's got to be a certain amount for, you know, drive time and stuff like that. But everything I sell is frozen, no live. It's just the best way to do it.
Right.
And then that's it. I mean, I don't have any problems with anybody messaging me. They can message, see what I've got, go from there, see how close I am, whatever. But like I said, it's one of those things. I don't mind meeting somebody halfway. Kind of helps out everybody at this point. But I don't ship. The cost is way too much right now.
No, right. Yeah, I mean, anyways, you got to defroze. I mean, realistically, down there in southern Arkansas and Texas in the summer, I mean, you'd be putting rodents in the back of your truck, and by the time you got to your destination, they'd all be passed out and dead.
They'd be gone. Yep.
I mean, I know when I pick up flights now, my ASF bins are never too bad when I pick up flights of ASF, but man, when I pick up flights of rats, you know, sometimes you got to open and you're like fanning them and stuff. It don't matter how many holes you drill in there. Once it's 80, 90 degrees in the back of a pickup truck,
they can't handle it. No. I mean, they'll be upside down, sweating all over the place.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I mean, I'm just kind of curious, outside of obviously all the puzzle stuff, I mean, is there another project obviously that you're working on right now, or something you're excited about, kind of, you know, bringing into the mix, bringing into the collection, or is it gun ho balls to the walls on puzzle?
Well, no, I've been balls to the wall gung ho puzzle, because I mean, at that point, 2011, when I bought in, I went ahead and said, hey, this is the main project I'm taking. Yeah. Now, my second project that I enjoy the most is Axanthic VPI line. Right. So I basically have merged the VPI and the Axanthic and the puzzle together. So now the next phase for me is making everything True Ghost. So I mean, I've got a bunch of True Ghost stuff that I've got. Just kind of been building that army up slowly and quietly, and then here we are, kind of going. Starting next year, I could potentially have the first shots doing different things, and I've got True Ghost stuff coming this year already. Girl's about to ovulate, so I mean, it's one of those things. I'm trying to go recessive, double recessive, but at the same time, I don't want to just go crazy and have 3 or 4 different combos and 7 different racks filled up with different double heads, triple heads, and all that good jazz. Yeah. I'd rather see kind of finished product and, okay, do I like this? Do I need to pivot, turn around, and go a different direction, or gung ho keep going with this? Because I don't want to just completely go in one direction and get myself bottlenecked in. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, Sean's liking his VPI stuff. I know I challenged a couple people this year with the VPI stuff. I don't do Axanthic right now. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if I want another recessive. But, you know, I've been challenging people with the VPI stuff. I keep telling people, I'm like, Man, you don't see a lot of super chocolate VPI stuff. Like, you know, somebody throws some chocolate into VPI. I'm sure someone's going to post one up now tonight, and it's going to look either awesome or it's going to be like, well, this is why you don't do it. But I would really like to see a Cypress chocolate Axanthic puzzle.
Nah.
That's my challenge to folks out there. I was talking to forget who I was talking to earlier this year, and they're like, I don't know what to do with my Axanthic stuff. I'm like, I think this is what you should do. And they're like, oh yeah, I got a super chocolate girl just sitting around. I'm like, okay, we'll throw one of your Axanthics in there.
Right.
But you know,
I mean, that's a dead giveaway. That snake should be amazing looking. I've got another project. I'm working on it.
No, right.
I'm not to the full Cypress part gear yet. So
yeah. Yes, Cypress is another. I'm waiting for people to finally realize that one. I mean, Cypress is another one of those ones. I mean, I like it. I probably don't have as much as I would think I would have in my collection for how much that I like it in combos. But
right.
I mean, it's in the same complex. I mean, and someone could correct me again on this one. I mean, it's the same complex as, you know, Hidden Gene Woma and whatnot. The only thing is that, you know, the super Cypresses sometimes have that little bit of funkiness and the wobble and stuff. But, you know, because of that, it kind of gets a free pass. I mean,
yeah,
that's just.
You get scared nowadays. You start working on a different project. If it has the slightest of ticks, are you going to get a bad YouTube video? And then is that going to mess up the entire project? So, I mean,
no, right.
That's kind of, I guess, the like champagne. Is that the next one everybody's going to go after? Like, I'm waiting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting. I mean, the thing is, though, too, I mean, I've seen some of these people who have made, you know, now animals. I think they got, you know, 8-10 genes in them. I don't know if anyone else has, you know, feel free to pipe in. But, man, I've seen some of these, you know, like clowns that are like, you know, 6-7 gene clowns that you see people post. And you see them in person at the show. And it's like, man, some of these clowns, like, they don't look right. Like, they look kind of, like, cockeyed, kind of wonky and stuff. So, I mean, part of me sometimes kind of questions, I'm like, is it inevitable with, you know, how I would say aggressive that some people are breeding, you know, from a perspective, you know, I don't see it in everyone's. I mean, you know, I got a couple of 5-6 gene girls. I mean, I can't really count the one girl. I mean, I got an 8 gene champagne girl, but
champagne.
Yeah, it's champagne. So you can't really count. I mean, she's just a freaking yellow pasta noodle, so she don't look like much.
Yep.
But
I think whenever it comes down to it, when it comes to the combos I'm looking for, I don't want to make just a yellow or white or whatever. So I want to make something that's got pattern to it and something that's going to enhance as it gets older. So I think very selectively going forward is where I've been taking my projects for the longest, and I'm kind of happy where I'm turned. But there's some that I've definitely had to pivot off of because it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, I think that's kind of part of it too. I mean, you see so many people that are like, well, I want to make this because it's already been made. I think that's kind of part of it. You know, if you're really going to get into kind of breeding, especially with a lot of stuff with puzzle, I mean, where it hasn't been made yet. I mean, part of it is, taking that gamble, taking that risk, and then saying, does this appeal to me? Yes or no. I mean, it could look amazing. It could look horrible. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, I mean, I can't remember which one it was. That's what it was last year when I made the Yellow Belly Soul Sucker puzzle, acid last year. Man, that boy, I posted, and I was like, well, why are you selling him? I'm like, I don't like how he looks. I thought it was going to look different. You know, so, I mean, I just kind of tell people, you know, that's kind of part of the game is I feel like people have to take that risk. I mean, but I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I'm looking for always heavy pattern change, you know, kind of, I always call it like depth of pattern. You know, where you kind of see that shading, that fading coming in, some of the flaming still, but then kind of that mixture between how much kind of graveling and shading I'm going to have, as well as, you know, how much, you know, cleanness to the pattern. You know, I like clean lines, but I like really cool fade outs. It's kind of a weird.
That's what that kind of weirdo has been doing with the fade outs. It has been making an animal that is super clean, but it gives it more of that fading pattern. So it's definitely different. It's definitely weird. Just don't know to the extent of, you know, when you start calling it, I got to still go through and find out which animals carry it, which ones don't. So I've got a lot of fun times ahead of me, but it should be very easy to figure it out.
And I'm kind of curious with that weirdo stuff, because I remember Sean Bradley, I mean, I know it was in some of his puzzle stuff. There was like some like fluff gene and stuff, and then obviously Ozzy then had that weirdo gene. I'm not very familiar, obviously, with either of them. I'm curious, I mean, is there potential? I mean, that those things are made, and people can chime in because, like I said, I've only seen like I think Dark Cloud posted one in the past with Banana that had that fluff gene, and then obviously I've seen Ozzy's weirdo stuff, and a couple other people now that have had it. I mean, I'm curious if there's potentially that's all kind of the same thing because there's both supposed to be brighteners and enhancers, but
from what I can tell you, from what I've hatched, so I've hatched one out. It's a Phantom Puzzle. It has got the most blushing that I've ever seen. It's got massive gaps, about 1.5 inch gaps between each saddle that it's got on its sides. And that came from a fluff animal from Sean directly.
Okay.
So is that animal the fluff? I imagine it's got to be because it doesn't look anything like the Pastel Phantom Weirdo puzzle that I made this past year. So with that being said, the fluff is, from what I've been told, is really like the red gene. That's the best way to the closest resembling gem, right?
Yeah.
So then when it comes to weirdo stuff, I've noticed the tracks across the belly. You'll see the big highlights down the belly. It's really black, really bold. And then it has a lot of the elongating down the neck. You'll notice that pattern will really start extending down the neck, real fine, real faint down the side. I've noticed that I held back a het girl, or I thought she was a het, when I first started producing the possets that I had from the Super Pastel Het Boy. I held back 3 girls. 2 of them proved out. The other one did not. The other one had proved it. I bred her 3 times to not prove her. So then when I finally got to going and I did the lesser combo to her, I hatched out with the Platy Daddy and all that kind of Het Daddy looking stuff. So that's where I'm like, okay, this is where I can guarantee that what I've got in my collection is that. Now to where all I have it and which animals that came from. So that was a fun little bit. But I'm back still, like I said, tracing it. About 90% of my animals have it either in the parent from one side or the other. So it could potentially be everywhere.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's been kind of interesting. I know, like, my thing is too, like, and Ozzy hasn't been, I know had like the cryptic stuff that then started popping up in the puzzle, which, who knows really with that. I mean, the cryptic everyone said originally was found in, I know, Desert Ghost, but I'm kind of curious now, obviously, who knows, but.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I don't have any cryptic in my visual puzzle stuff or any of my hets. Because breeding it to that visual clown girl, I got no cryptons.
No cryptons.
So, So that is automatically dead giveaway for me. I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was kind of the big thing too. I think that was like 2 years ago now, where everyone was saying that, cryptic and puzzle were supposed to be the same thing. Which to me, I never saw it. Like I got the similarities, but I never saw the
similarities are there, but it's not full.
Right.
Now you can possibly look at a cryptic combo and see potentially what the puzzle combo could potentially look like. I mean, that might be a looking glass kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like in most of them, like you look at the back, you look at the dorsal on a puzzle compared to a cryptic. I mean, cryptics don't have those like legitimate like jigsaw type pieces that you're sitting in there. So I think
some of the combos that I've produced this past year, I'm loving the puzzle combos across the back dorsal. You've got all these, like the Hingiwoma Phantom Boy I produced. It's got these little light brown tan spots all down jigsaw down its back. I mean, it's insane. But then you got the Super Pastel Spot Nose that's got all these kind of bluish cream colors, and but they're in the same spot. That animal just threw me for a loop whenever it came out of the egg because I didn't think it's what it was, and then looking at the dad, I instantly knew what it was at that point. So it's amazing when you're breeding hets and you put them away, and then you're doing the clutch for 60 days, and then you forget all about what that animal looked like, and then you go back to hatch it. Oh, damn, it looks something totally different. So, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think Spot Nose is another one, like you mentioned there. I mean, Spot Nose with puzzle, I think, I always kind of talk about people, and people are like, well, what are some of the first genes you would get into puzzle? I'm like, I don't know. My personal preference is like either, butter or Mojave, from the Bell side. Give me one of those. Give me OD, give me HRA, and give me Spot Nose. I mean, those are, I've seen probably the most consistently, really cool kind of combo stacks that you can play with it. At least to this point. I'm sure there's probably some other genes out there that I just haven't seen yet that potentially are probably more powerful. I'm still a big believer. I think that, things like Black Pastel and Blackhead are going to have a big part to play in puzzle. I just don't know what that's going to be yet.
Right. I mean, honestly, all the Black Pastel stuff I've seen in the puzzle, I prefer cinnamon over the Black Pastel.
Yeah, so I think that's been, another thing, because, I mean, there's only been, I think I've only seen 2 or 3 I've seen. I know
Yep.
the one I think had like Stranger in it too. So like,
Yep.
but the single gene, just black pastel puzzle and then the cinnamon puzzle. I mean, black pastel and cinnamon, you can tell when you just put a single gene animal next to each other that they're different, but they're still have a lot of similarities outside of, you know, the typical things like the eyebrows and stuff. And
Right.
I find it really interesting that in that combo, you know, more so than a lot of other recessives that you put it in, you know, even like take clown, cinnamon clown and black pastel clown, they look different, but there are a
Right.
lot of similarities besides just some of the colorations to it.
Yep.
But in puzzle, the overall the alien head structure is very different in
It
both
is.
of them. It's
It's
very
elongated.
different.
It connects everything. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would almost say that the cinnamon is cleaner than the black pastel.
That's
In puzzle.
exactly where I'm going with.
In
Yep.
puzzle. Usually
Yep.
I feel like in a lot of things you go black pastel because the black
It's cleaner,
pastel is like
right.
the cleaner version, cleaner, darker version. But in puzzle, I mean, you had them what is it, Breeder Circle, you know, produce some.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
there have been a couple others that have all been out and they've all shown the exact same thing. The elongation on the side, it almost gives me, kind of reminds me almost like tri-stripe, like Cine
That's
Tri.
exactly what I'd say. I've just kind of wondering. I've mentioned that with a few other people. We've talked about it. Tri-stripe, cinnamon. What's it going to do? I mean, I don't know. We'll see, because it does.
right.
The puzzle and cinnamon does look very tri-stripey.
Yeah, it gives you that kind of that tri-stripe look without having
Yep.
to go buy another recessive potentially. So,
Right. Right.
you know, I think, you know, the other thing I think for me is like you were saying, you know, the sugar and the calico stuff. I don't know if I've seen visuals of those yet, but I mean,
I've seen one, and like I said, you're going to take it off of the visual of one. I got to see more. I mean, I just, at this point, can I do something? And then if it's got the daddy weirdo stuff, whatever it's got in it, is it going to enhance it more? Or are we going to find out that maybe that is what we need in the combo to increase it? I mean, is it just one of the things that just puzzle by itself just doesn't quite do it? And then when you add the weirdo head daddy stuff, does it really enhance it? I think there's a lot of different ways we could take this in the future, a lot of different basically paths that nobody's even done yet. To see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of stole, you know, the concept that I was thinking about potentially doing with my puzzle stuff. You know, once I, you know, have things kind of in line here, obviously I'm a lot, you know, newer into the project than yourself. Is, you know, obviously when I was seeing the cinnamon puzzle stuff and the pewter puzzle stuff that you were producing, and then, you know, I was seeing some of the calico hats that some people were making, and then obviously I made, you know, this past year I had campfires and bonfires and all that type of shit, and I was just like, you know, I think that could be a really, you know, potentially unique one, just given how nice, you know, cinnamon is in the puzzle. You do something like a Cine Enchi Calico. Enchi, I'm kind of like 50-50 on in puzzle. It looks good, but not amazing. But I think you maybe throw those together, you know, add something like a Yellow Belly, OD. You know, I think that there could be something there. Like I think, like you said, it's finding the right combo to say, is it worth it? Is it, you know, is it not? You know, because I don't know. I would say to a degree. I mean, a lot of people kind of poo-pooed on things like Russo. You know, besides making the white diamonds until what Russo clowns came out. I think when Russo clowns first came out, they were like $5,000 or something like that.
Right.
So, you know, and people thought it was amazing again. Special was another one. Special kind of died off. They said, well, there's nothing you can do besides crystal.
Did you see that special puzzle?
Yeah, I've seen a couple special puzzles. Yeah,
it's got the mustache.
Yeah, no, me and Sean from SRS, we were talking last night because, and I don't know if Mike Pender, if you're on, say hi, but I was talking with him as well with the one. I had this dinker that popped out, you know, a few years ago, and I think it might just be maybe it's a weird line of special, maybe it's something different. But I mean, I was tempted, you know, partially to put it into the Ultramil puzzle stuff because if it was special, you know,
really brighten it up.
No, right. And at least then you're like, well, like it wasn't a dinker I held back for 3 years. That's not anything cool. And you're like,
right?
It's just a $200 special or whatever it is.
Genes have been found in different ways.
No, right. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I think that's kind of a thing. Yeah, I think that's like for me, I know what that's drew me to Ultramil puzzle is both Ultramil and puzzle work well with Bell. You know, so can you get a purple puzzle? You know, in a sense, you know, drive up those purple tones. But you know, want to notate too.
The true ghost route was the way I was thinking. Like, what kind of colors is it going to bring in? Because the puzzle is so black on just by itself. What's it going to do with the browns? One thing I've noticed with the Axanthic puzzle, just the normal, the blacks are black, but then she went through this little ugly phase from 300 grams to 550, And then when she got to 700 grams, she started getting her gray back again. And I noticed she was a paradox. She's got like little spots on her that are like the yellow from a pastel, basically. But it's just, she's a normal. So I've noticed as those have aged, those are kind of blended in a little better, and you're not even noticing it. I mean, she is a gray animal compared to a regular Axanthic. I mean, she's perfect.
You'd almost wonder if it turned blue.
Oh, that's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, that's honestly, Smurf is kind of the thing I had on my mind, but you know, we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be that blue, but I mean, you know, blue in general.
Yeah, I mean, even if it could be, I mean, just a faint, you know, kind of I don't know, like a dusty blue or something like that, or smoke blue going in there, or like butane torch blue, that would be pretty cool, actually.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, for anyone else too, I just want to notate too. I know I was hammering all my local show folks to come join this episode. For everyone that did join, you know, that does go to those local shows, like I said before, you know, hinting as going into next week and stuff, that's when like the free tickets and VIP passes are going to be. And guess what? If you don't join live, you ain't going to get those. So just want to throw that out there that everyone that's part of, you know, the scaled up crowd, let people know that, you know, you got to join. Otherwise, you're not going to get the free giveaways. You're not getting free tickets. You're not going to be getting, you know, potentially discounts on snakes, geckos, tarantulas. There's going to be some fun stuff here that we're going to be throwing out. But, you know, again, I mean, everyone, if they don't watch this video, I mean, they're probably going to miss out on that. And that's going to be their fault. They're going to miss out on some swag.
Don't miss out.
Yeah, don't miss out. I mean, Nick Kennedy said he's down with the blue. So are you, Nick Kennedy, are you going to go buy some puzzle now from Kevin? Go make some blue puzzles. I want free. Come on, Nick.
I want free. Come on. Doesn't everybody want that?
Yeah. If you know how to do that, let me know.
But it's like, you got a cheat code. We all got to know.
Yeah. I got to ask. I mean, I know it's been a couple of shows. And that's my bad because I was trying to get this with every show, which is like most ridiculous show or like customer story. Like we all have one that's just like it's funny to laugh about. Chris, that's not funny. No one wants to go watch the Bears, even though I'm a Bears fan. But I mean, you got to have one, either ridiculous customer story or something.
Man, I don't know. I just there's so many things that just happen. I think it's more just the Patreons who just walk in and ask the weird questions that they get you the most. There's not one that I could say that somebody who's bought something for me that I said, oh, that's going to be a problem. Yeah. Now I've got some buddies of mine that have, of course, sold some stuff to somebody that has been turned into problems. But I mean, it's no different than just the classic, you know, people walking up to you asking you if you know, this is poisonous, or, you know, do you feed it crickets, or, you know, do you have to thaw out everything? Can I just feed it a rock, you know, rodent, and then that way it's good because I can't touch it? I mean, you go to some of these shows, local shows, like you said, there'll be people walk in and say, oh, I didn't know these things were for sale. And I mean, there's all kinds of different things that just happen. But like I said, over the years, dude, it's one of those things you kind of just look at them and just nod your head and walk off. I mean, I don't really try to keep up with a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think I have like my board. I should probably do my board here. I just like, I don't know. For me, it's like, I just find it funny. Like, it's like, from my perspective, it's like a fun entertainment. I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
every year you get one.
you do. But it's just, man, then you mess with them and then it just.
Yeah.
Well, waste of time. And
right.
Then I talk about them, I get mad about it, and I'm good.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, I think that's a lot of things too with people now in the market. I mean, I know, look, I get it. I mean, it's been slower, I think, for a lot of people. I mean, but I just kind of tell people, I mean, besides obviously finding new crafty ways to sell, I think you got to grind through it, you know?
Right.
I kind of, you know, to a degree, as much as like, yeah, I'm not having the year I was last year right now, at least from a sales perspective. It's definitely been slower, but I kind of tell people to it a bit. I'm enjoying it because I know that I'll grind out and I'll go through it. And I know that the people that I like buying from, the people that I enjoy, you know, gaining knowledge from, like yourself, like I know that they're still going to be around. So I'm not worried about it.
Well, I mean, I'm in my room. This is basically making me go forward, because if it wasn't for this, dude, sales are not going good enough to keep me full time at this point. I mean, they're going, but they're not going that well. So it's one of those deals like, okay, so instead of getting into a problem and then you start putting sales up and you got all these different things going, I don't want to be that guy because I don't want to be well, you crashed it first. No, I don't.
Yeah.
That doesn't, I'm not going to be that guy. So at this point, my snakes, I'm tickled about it because they're back to being my hobby again. So basically, I come to my rat building, I go to work. This is what I do for a full-time job. I go back and I clean rat shit for full-time, and I clean snake shit for my part-time enjoyment, I guess you could say. Because when it comes down to it, that's all we are, is just a janitor.
No, right.
That's it. I mean,
Hey,
there's really not a lot of fun, but it's just what you got to do.
I like that. I feel like we need to put that on a shirt or something. Like NARBC October, like 2023. Yeah, top janitor. Yeah.
I'm the head janitor in this building.
I think I'm gonna. Hey, Nick Kennedy, since you paint stuff, can we get a custom NARBC broom and janitor outfit, and we'll auction it off? I think we're gonna do that now. That's gonna be our. I'm totally doing that now. I mean, I was thinking about like beer coolers and stuff. Which, don't get me wrong, everyone's gonna want a beer cooler of beer. Maybe not a Bud Light anymore.
Maybe not a Bud Light. Man, that has went crazy, has it not?
Yeah, I don't even want to go down that route.
Oh no, we'd be on a whole other spectrum on this one. The whole thing about not getting kicked off YouTube. Let's go ahead and just pass by.
Exactly.
Get him right by this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I like that saying. I'm probably gonna steal that now and start using it. I'm just a janitor.
I'm a janitor. That's all it is, all day long.
Right.
What are you doing? I'm cleaning shit. I mean, that's all you do.
I mean, I think that's the thing. I think a lot of people need to realize too. I think people get caught up in and look, I mean, I have a YouTube channel now, but I mean, I did it the way that I did it here for a reason. Because one, I hate to say it, I don't want to script stuff out. That seems like too much freaking work. Two, I just want to have freaking fun when I go on here, talk to cool people, get other people to see the cool people that I get to meet in this industry, and hopefully they enjoy and they get something out of it, or realize that there's other cool people outside of the two people they know that they can buy from and trust. Right. But I think a lot of people get hung up in the people that became big YouTube personalities, and there's nothing wrong with those people. Look, congrats.
No, you got to have those.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a lot of good for the industry as far as growing the hobby and stuff, and that's great. And hey, that's how they made their money. Awesome. But I think everyone thinks, and they're always like, well, I want to do that. I want to do that. And I kind of call it Steve Jobs syndrome or Mark Zuckerberg syndrome, because they see that and they go, oh, I'm going to be the next this. I'm going to be the next this. I'm like, how about you just be the next you? Like,
that's it.
Enjoy.
I mean, from the get-go, when I first started doing this, I always told Tim, I don't want to walk up to somebody, introduce myself, and say, hey, this is me. I want you to know me by the animals that I'm producing. And therefore, if I'm producing something that you like, then we're going to basically combo at that point, and then I'll get to know you from there. And I have a reason to talk to you instead of just say, hey, my name's this. I don't want to do that. That's not what I came into this for. That's not what the animals is what I'm here for.
Well, right. I mean, look at that. I mean, obviously now it's been, I think, 2 years now, I think 2 NARBCs in a row. I got into puzzle. That's how then I found out about you. You just have to be right in the end cap in my row. And the rest is history between the acid stuff and the puzzle stuff we talked about. And I think, I think that people, like I said, I think they forget about that aspect of it. Sean's on here. I mean, Sean from SRS has known me since I had 3 snakes in my collection. Now fast forward, roughly I'm at like 120, 150 or something like that total. But, I think that's the thing, those relationships build when they threw Hardwire in our row. I didn't know Tony at all. And I think now it's funny that, from last fall NARBC to now, he's probably, in the top 5 out of the snake breeders that I probably talked to. I mean, between us geeking out over giraffe bone skinning knives for hunting and, there's so many other things that we just had, like, it was really weird. Like, we're both bow hunters, we were talking about it. No one turkey hunts down in Georgia by him. And I'm like, dude, you need to come to the Midwest. Like, everyone turkey hunts up here. Right. So, it's just, I think that's kind of the other thing too. You got to realize, with this hobby, it's like, we're all just normal people. We all got, either day jobs, other hobbies and stuff. Right. And I think, I think that's what you see. So many people that have been, friends now for, 5-10 years. How long have you known Tim now? What, 11 plus?
Dude, it's 2009 is when I first met him, bought my first ball python from him in 2010. Yeah. At this point, I'm going to his house this upcoming weekend. Dude, it's just, and like I said, that's that dude right there. I owe him everything that I currently have is because of that man right there. I mean, he set me up on projects. He set me up on different things where I can't tell you how many hours on the phone I talked to him. It was a ritual Sunday afternoon conversation for the first year and a half. I mean, I just soaked it in, sponged it up, did what I could, and then here I'm doing it myself.
Yeah, I mean, he also has one of the most badass mustaches in the reptile hobby. It's like him and Levinson, you know, probably going at it for best mustache in the hobby. Yeah. So, you know, but Levinson's gets covered up with the beard. So I think I have to give it to Tim. I mean,
for sure. No, Tim's got a hella stash.
Yeah. But yeah, like Sean was saying too. Yeah, when Tinley got canceled. I don't know if you went to Tinley when that got canceled.
Funny story with that one is I was about 45 minutes out of Tinley when they told us it was canceled. So me and the wife, we just turned around and drove back. And I got to find out that afterwards that everybody was doing the stuff in the hotel room and stuff. So if I would have known that, I would have just drove up, just hang out for the weekend. But hey, like I said, I was like, well, fuck, and just drove on home.
that was the last Tinley before I started vending Tinley, and I remember that I went down. Because there was a nanny Mojave pin that Sean had that I remember he's like, I made 3 of them. I'm not sure if I'm gonna, release any or not. I'm like, well, if you release one, let me know. He told me, and I was like, all right, I'll take it. And I knew it was that one. I think there was like 1 or 2 others. And I was like, yeah, I'll take this. Yeah, my wife's already making fun of me. That's when it all went downhill, she said. But I mean, I told him, I'm like, yeah, I think then there was like 1 or 2 others. I'm like, yeah, I'll for sure take these. I know one of them was a Hidden Gene Woma clown. I can't even remember all of them. Oh, the cinnamon Blitz, 50% head albino. I forgot about that girl. So I remember I was going down for those 3. I ended up coming back. I think it was like with 9 or 10 snakes. I mean, there's a picture somewhere up on Facebook with like me, Winston Smith, Brock Wagner, Sean's in the room. And I'm like, looking at stuff, going through stuff. And I mean, I came back with a whole cooler fill. I mean, I didn't even have a big enough cooler with, and Sean's like, here, you want this styrofoam cooler? And then the wife I come back with all these snakes, and the wife says, she's like, what'd you do? I was like, oh, there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, but I say that was it. I mean, that was my first show I was supposed to vend for Tinley. Yeah. And it lasted for, I think it was 2 or 3 tries to try to finally get to vend that show. I almost thought it was one of those things, I'm just not meant to vend this show.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting show, between that with all the, sometimes I almost I hate to say it, but sometimes I'm like, man, maybe Tinley should just rent out the hotel and every vendor should have their own little hotel rooms, depending on what type of suite you want to pay for, move all the beds. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I mean,
who knows, man, with that, what's the company on? Even, is that the hotel brand? Is that who that is?
I don't know what the hotel brand is. It's changed a few times. It was originally a Holiday Inn back in the beginning, but I think now it's like Even or 11 or something like that.
I don't know. But they might do something weird like that. Who knows?
They really should. I know, at least in my day job, they started switching events to that, which was very interesting. They'd go to a 4 or 5-star hotel. Every single vendor, you'd have that in there. So for cybersecurity, you'd go in and it's that's how they'd set their stuff up. It became the post-COVID thing where people go to hotels, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of unique. Yeah. It's like a weird block party minus the fire hydrant.
Basically.
Yeah, it was a Holiday Inn back then. There we go. But, yeah, I mean, I'm going to throw it out here, too, because obviously, I mean, Kevin's probably got a lot of rat shit to clean, No,
I'm done for that. I already did that today. I'm not doing no more. Now, the next phase will be snake shit.
Snake shit. Well, that's where it goes
after this.
He's got a lot of snake shit to clean. If there's anyone on here that's got questions about the puzzle project, about Kevin, about his business, about shows he's got, anything cool, I mean, throw that out here in the chat. I mean, this has been the quietest chat that we've seen. It's a lot of my wife and Sean right now going back and forth about it. About me, making fun of me. So, I mean, if anyone's got good stories maybe about something with Kevin, feel free to drop that in there too. We haven't had any of those lately. No one's got any good stories.
I know. I told you it was me, dude.
It's probably both of us. It's that 6 watch. It's probably that whole 600 row. It's that whole 600 row, man. Every time I get something 600 row, we'll see what happens. We'll keep getting other people. Loud noises. But I mean, otherwise, outside of that, again, folks, next week is going to start out our scaled up series for our local shows up in Wisconsin. Definitely, obviously, again, if you want to win free stuff, if you want to get free tickets, you got to tune in. you got to actually pay attention because we are going to actually be asking a question from the episode. So if you don't watch the episode live, guess what? You ain't going to win free tickets. You ain't going to win free shirts. You ain't going to win free anything. So definitely make sure that you tune in. If you haven't already, go follow Kevin's pages, like his pages, shoot him a message. If you're not in the puzzle project, get into the puzzle project, get to Kevin before he ends up selling out of the last ones he's got. You know, I mean,
coming.
I keep telling people, you know, here today, gone tomorrow with the puzzle stuff. But otherwise, I mean, what is this? Sorry, I've been out of the room doing snake stuff with. What's that look like? Any speculation?
See, I'm very intrigued about the puzzle sunset. Puzzle tri-stripe, like I said, I'm thinking that's going to have some legs to it, but how much and where is it going to fall? Yeah. I'm not too sure. But puzzle sunset has been one that's been kind of on my low end radar. Just because I don't have the rack space for it. But I'm just wondering about how is the oranges in the sunset going to do with that copper color that has the normal puzzle with the blacks? How is that going to interact?
Yeah, and I'm really excited about that too. I mean, I still got my son. I literally just bought into Sunset. I got to pay it off. I'm on a payment plan for that one, but I mean, I got a yellow belly Sunset male for that exact reason. I was going to put it into one of my puzzle girls to make the double hats and start going down that route once I can get him paid off. But I mean, that's kind of been my same thought as well. Is I think that the Sunset Bell stuff is nice. I think it might age better with puzzle is my hope or my thought. Watch me be completely wrong.
I mean, like I said, I think we're on the same page on that one because I'm really kind of intrigued about that one. I just haven't put it together because of tub space.
Yeah, I know Sean was saying Brock and Winston might be working on Sunset Puzzle. I think Antoine had a shot at it. Antoine Hood had a shot at it this year. I can't remember if that was the one that slugged out and he was really, really bummed about. I think he has a shot coming up or something like that. I know he's got double heads though, at least. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that. I know Will at TJW is also doing that one as well. But otherwise, I mean, the tri-stripe side, outside of RCR, I mean, I don't know anyone besides Will that's doing that in RCR.
Right.
That's the only one I can think of. I don't know if NOCO would maybe. I mean, NOCO has a lot of try and a lot of puzzle.
I know he's got a lot of tri-stripe, but if he has, Marshall hadn't said nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the only other person would be. I would think maybe Marshall, maybe Kyle Frost, because Kyle gets a lot of his stuff. I know he's gotten stuff from Marshall and stuff. I know he's got a lot of try and he's got a decent amount of puzzle. Those are the only people I could think of, that would have that. So yeah, I think going back to that, like you were saying, I agree. I think the Sunset puzzles are going to be awesome.
I do too.
At least I hope so, because I'm taking a big gamble by buying the Sunset for it.
Right, but I mean, you're looking at the colors, how Sunset reacts, how it ages. I mean, I'm thinking, the puzzle, how it ages, it actually gets a little better. The bronze comes through a lot more, so maybe that enhances and helps the Sunset out when it gets to that aging point that you're kind of seeing that darkening up and stuff like that. Maybe it'll kind of maybe keep it brighter as an adult. Yeah,
the tri-stripe puzzle, I really think that one's a toss-up, and I think
that is.
It's just because of how, like I said, how the Cine puzzles have come out. Like, it gives such a cool tri-stripey influence, and you just kind of wonder: are you just going to end up? Are you going to connect more of the pattern on the side, and you can kind of get the puzzle influence on the side, but are you going to wipe the puzzle pieces off the top?
Right. Are you going to take everything else clean?
Yeah, I mean, that's been one of my concerns. The one I've been joking with people on is to do the puzzle back puzzle or the Super Jungle Woma puzzle. I only bought into Mario, honestly, besides I think, the Mario stuff. I mean, I think it looks a little bit nicer than Jungle Woma, but it's the same thing. But I purposely did it because I felt like it'd be hard to sell a puzzle back puzzle versus a Super Mario puzzle.
It's because, I mean, what are you're going to confuse somebody.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to confuse the crap out of somebody. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I think that there's a ton of potential, for, whoever that was, obviously that, sent that out there. I think if you have an interest in it, I think both me and Kevin will tell you the same thing. Go for it. Take that gamble, roll the dice on it. But I'm going to say the same thing I tell everyone, make your own double hets with that type of stuff. Because, man, when people start releasing the double hets for those, they're going to be asking for a pretty penny. And you got to ask yourself.
Are you going to get the nicest of the double hets?
Correct. Are you going to get the nicest? And
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I have like, unless I know the person well, you know,
Yep.
it's very hard for me to drop a ton of money on, let's say, a normal double het that I don't
Yep.
know if I don't know you at all, there's no backing, there's no one that can vouch, and then you find
Yep.
out that you dropped, you know, $4,000, $3,500, whatever it is, on a normal.
Yep.
Even though it's supposed to be 100% double het, you know, that's why I always tell people. I mean, make your hats, make your double hats, go through the process. I mean, it's about the journey. You know, I think, you know, again, people, I mean, me and Kevin were talking at the beginning. It took him 7 years to get to the double recessive with the VPI Axanthic puzzles. I mean, he wouldn't still be doing it if he didn't think it was exciting, if he didn't think it was worth it. I think that's the point. You got to be in it for the long haul with the hobby. If you just want results right away, you know, it's okay to be a collector, you know, is what I always tell people too. It's okay to collect, you know, but I think you got to kind of figure that out. Do you want to collect or do you want to produce? Do you want to tinker?
Right.
Do you want to build?
So, right. Yep, absolutely. And I mean, it's more rewarding at the end of the day. I mean, if you take an animal, and I nothing against the genetic testing, but at the end of the day, if I sit there and send something in genetically tested, then I already know, hey, I proved it out at that point because it's genetically tested. Or I can sit here and take the time, think about what I'm seeing, and try to hone myself on what I'm looking at to where I know something in the future, maybe I should hold that back because maybe there's a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
you never know what you can catch doing those.
No, right. I think we even talked about it, I think, a little bit when we were talking about the acid stuff the one time at Tinley. I mean, there's something to be said about looking at things in pictures and stuff versus then when you start producing it yourself. Right. I think that's just the other piece to it too. I mean, you know, I feel like I'm going to get on my soapbox here again about, you know, how all the black pastel, yellow belly acid stuff, how like there was a bunch of mis-ID'd, but I mean, that's the point, is because we are playing a little bit of a guess game, you know, to a degree. It's and everyone's lines are slightly different expressions and stuff sometimes, because we don't line breed really a ton in ball pythons, you know. So I think that people just, you know, you got to go through that process. And, you know, I think it's funny sometimes it's like the simplest combos you'll see 5,000 pictures of. You've seen them, but you've never produced one. And then you start questioning, you're like, I don't really know. Like, is this? And it's like, is this really what it is? And it's because you've never seen it in person. You've never produced it out of the egg. You know, and I think that that's part of the journey, you know, folks. I mean, you know, like I said, I mean, Gavin, I mean, you've been doing this now, I mean, total, what, 13 years?
13 years.
Yeah. I mean,
be 10 years breeding this season.
Yeah.
I mean, so 13 buying into projects, 13 going through and finding different single genes. I mean, I did 2 gene, didn't go into 3 gene stuff when I first started out because I wanted to produce those. I wanted to see what those look like so I could start basically differentiating between the difference. I got to find out what does this one look like? What does that one look like? And then variations of the two. I've got to know what you're kind of expecting. I can't, it's kind of one of those things, you go buy something 4 or 5 genes and you hatch it out for the first time. It's kind of a guessing game.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, so folks, I mean, I think that's just kind of the thing to show you, you know, like I mentioned, you know, I'm, you know, only, you know, into 5 years roughly with ball pythons and stuff, still a lot earlier on, obviously, than, you know, where Kevin's gone. But, you know, obviously you can just kind of see that progression in time and stuff like that. If you put the time in, you can get to those points, you can get to those, you know, milestones and stuff. But, you know, it's all about working at it. You know, there's no other way to put it. What's up, Nixon Reptiles? Antoine and William are working for Super. Is the SS Nixon? Is that supposed to be was that Sunset Puzzle or Super Stripe Puzzle? Because I could see Miguel doing Sunset Puzzle. That seems like a Miguel type thing.
Yeah, especially him just popping out that Desert Ghost.
Yeah. I've never seen Antoine do Super Stripe stuff too. So I don't know. Maybe he's hiding Super Stripe stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah, Sunset.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, it seems like there are some people working on it. So I think that'll be, you know, probably in the next.
That was one of those projects that it's like, dude, if I had a visual sunset, I probably would have already done it.
Right.
Just like I said, doing the different codoms, doing the different ones I've already got one full rack full of adult females at this point. So I'm trying to make the ones out that I need to keep and, you know, move on forward and then don't keep too much of the same stuff.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, like I said, I mean, I just finally bit the bullet on that. And I mean, Sean could probably tell you there. I mean, I remember I look back at, I think, and that's the other thing I'll tell people too. If you like puzzle or something like that, or any recessive, man, if you like it, you got to pull the trigger on it. You can't keep waffling. I'm going to tell one of my stupid soapbox stories again, always, but I remember this was 20, I don't know, it was like 2018, 2019 or whatever. I was getting in, and Sean and Brock were showing me sunset stuff. I'm like, dude, man, you should get this. Like, they're telling you it's totally untapped. There's so much you can do with it. And I kept hemming and hawing, and I passed. I mean, they gave me a good deal back when like the hypo sunset stuff, like those hats, and I think the visuals at that time, Brock had just made the double visuals, and I was like, nah, I ended up passing. I mean, fast forward to now, and I look at it, I'm like, man, if I would have bought in back then, like what I could have done now, starting to bring it into puzzle, bringing into things like genetic stripe or any of my other recessives, even like Desert Ghost. Like if I look at it like with even like where my Desert Ghost stuff is, if I would have bought puzzle back then, and then with the Desert Ghost stuff that I bought, I'm like, man, I would have been right there with, Miguel and stuff being, if I wanted to make, sunset DGs. But, so that's why I kind of just always tell that story, folks, if there's something you want, as long as you can plausibly do it, a lot of these breeders here, they'll work with you. They understand that like money doesn't grow on trees. A lot of us will, find a way to help. We know if you're serious. And, I think that's kind of the thing is, you got to plan for that future. You can't plan for 5 months or 6 months or 8 months. You got to plan for the next, if you're really looking to do this, the next 5 to 10 years.
Right. I mean, I have no problems about holding on to a female or holding on to any visual animal that somebody's paying for if it's more than what they can handle. Yeah. I'm not worried about that. I'll feed the animal, do what I got to do with it. That's what I'm still taking care of that animal until the day I ship it off.
No, right.
I mean, it's kind of how it works. There's been a situation with a customer of mine. They bought an animal back in October, and I couldn't ship it to them until April because they lived up in North Dakota. Dude, the animal was 450 grams by the time they got it. But, I mean, hey, they were tickled with me.
No, right. Yeah, I think that's part of it, too. People always get worried about that. I mean, I don't know, in the winter, I'll be honest. I mean, the winter is the time, man, that I look around a lot of times. I'm like, I'm trying to snag and grab some. Like, it's okay. I'll wait a month or two. Because like you said, you're basically, in a sense, you're looking at it from the sense of saying, man, I don't even have to worry about a food bill for maybe a month or 2 months or something until until it can actually ship out. So, that's why I just always tell people, some of these recessive projects, guys, I mean, it doesn't hurt to reach out, be respectful, ask, a lot of us will tell you, where our numbers need to fall and, go from there. But a lot of folks.
But at the same time, just be honest. If you can't do it, just be honest. Right. Don't be like, I'll let you know in a couple of days, and you never hear nothing else.
Bingo.
So then you got that animal on hold because you're trying to be trusting for that person, and it backfires on everybody. So it's one of those things where I think that needs to come back in the market too. Is like, hey, if you can't make it, I understand, it's fine. But if you want to do a payment plan, that's fine too. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
So I think payment plans are well back into where things are going. I think 2020 kind of got people to where they were out of the payment plan kind of game, but we are very much back in the 2015, 16 kind of market area.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like I said, I mean, I think that's just kind of a big thing. People do it on, I tell people all the time, it's not unheard of. People do it on dogs. I mean, realistically, people do it on dogs. I know monitors are one of the few that people take deposits like dogs before they're even hatched. There's eggs dropped. Okay, great. You're number 15 on the wait list. Here's my $200 to be on that wait list, waiting for, a black dragon or something like that to hatch. So, obviously we don't really do that with ball pythons because we don't know what the heck's coming out. But, point being is, most of us will work with you. I think that's just kind of the, the best part. But,
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all hobbyists.
Yeah.
Oh, let me talk to my wife.
My wife, bye, Felicia.
I love that one.
Yeah, I've got shirts that'll be coming out here at some point where I have that saying on the back of one of those, but I haven't printed them out yet. I'm like, if I print it out, I don't know if I'm going too edgy there or not.
Well, head janitor's got to be one of them coming out.
Head janitor. I think we straight up janitor shirts. Like we should just start doing that. And I don't know, maybe we should make these head janitor shirts. We get it with a little name patch. Yours will say yours. And
get our
Kevin,
logo and stuff put on the back.
Kevin, we put your logo on the back. It'd almost be like a motorcycle club, but a janitor club for reptile shit. And we should do it. It'll be like a club. We'll raise money for USARK. You spend X amount on the janitor club. You get a new broom.
No shit. It actually might become my actual, I don't know, my uniform. I mean,
Right. That's really not a bad idea. Nick Kennedy, if you are still on here, my man, we need to talk about these janitor shirts. I mean, this is awesome. It's going to be like a motorcycle club, but much cooler. So, I mean, I'm super excited now about this. I mean, this is going to happen no matter what. I'm going to start making these up. And,
Yep.
Maybe I have to make a rule that you have to be on the tread to get one of those. I don't know.
Hey, that'll work.
That'll work. You know, I know Chris was telling me from Epic Styles. He told me that we need the hashtag burn rubber. So,
Yep.
But you know, for folks, you know, I know we're starting to kind of die down a little bit. We've taken up over an hour of, you know, poor Kevin's time here.
Oh, you're good, dude.
But you know, from my side, obviously, if there's any other questions, you know, comments, anything you want to put in the chat, feel free to throw that. Otherwise, I want to make sure that Kevin can still enjoy his evening with his family, with his wife, you know, get cleaning some snake shit and stuff, and you know, and we'll start working on those janitor outfits because
that'll work.
That's gonna be the next big thing. That's gonna be the next big thing. Janitor outfits for ball python breeders. But
I'm down for it.
Hey, janitor, there we go. Janitors for life. I love that. But folks, I mean, like we were saying, you know, definitely, obviously, if you don't already, go follow Kevin's pages, reach out, get to know him. If you see him at a show, stop by, check out his booth. He's got a lot of really cool stuff. I also really like his cool little end cap that he has in my row, but that's just, you know, me being me. I just think it's really cool.
The logo's going to change completely.
Logo's going to change.
It, dude. It's going. It's changing. The snake is gone. I'm excited to roll it out for Arlington, so everybody gets to see it then. I'm going to do the whole new banner, whole everything, and this is it. I'm really excited.
Is it still going to be KDF?
Yes, it's still KDF.
Okay, it's still going to be KDF.
I just got rid of the snake, and I went to my roots, and I'm kind of excited. So,
alrighty. I mean, that's going to be awesome. I mean, because then we can put the new logo on the janitor shirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll give you the new logo. So before you do something, let me know because I'll send you the new logo.
No, right. Yeah, no, I'll get these all. I'm going to start getting these all priced out with Nick here, and we'll start figuring out what we got to do. But I think that's our new thing. Yeah, Sean was saying he's going to have to find you at Arlington.
Yep, I'll be there.
But yeah, I mean, from my side, I mean, I appreciate you obviously jumping on, talking about Puzzle. I love Puzzle.
I appreciate you having me on.
I mean, you know, from my perspective, obviously, you know, we've been talking now. I mean, you know, for the couple of years, I enjoy a lot of the stuff you produce. I've yet to even buy something yet still from you from a puzzle side, but I know it's probably coming here sooner than later.
Coming.
It's coming.
I'm okay with waiting because I want you to get the animal you're looking for and you're tickled instead of me saying, hey, buy something now. I don't want to
Exactly.
Exactly. Be that one. Hey, it's the right animal. You're going to be tickled.
Right. And I think that's the other thing. You know, I always tell people, you know, obviously the way that you do things. I mean, I sent, you know, my one buddy over to your booth. And he was talking to you with puzzle stuff and whatnot. I mean,
they messaged me afterwards. Don't forget me.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think that's kind of the thing. I mean, you know, Kevin's super cool. I mean, about that. I mean, I shot him a message after the one NARBC and he actually followed up. He's not like other people that are just going to like dump you to the spam bin. So, I mean, you know, probably, you know,
it might take me a little bit to get to you, but I will answer your comment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he doesn't have the mustache like Tim does, but, you know, he does have a pretty epic beard. So, I mean, we've got a whole row of bearded guys in the 600 row. Tony's got a beard. I've got a poor man's beard.
Hey,
Kevin's got a sweet beard.
He's going strong down that aisle.
Yeah, exactly. But for everyone, remember, next week, again, spread the word. That's where scaled up giveaways are going to start, rolling it out, talking about Ultra Mill next week. So if you like orange stuff, definitely join. If you hate orange stuff, it's probably not the episode for you. But, you know, again, appreciate everyone's support up to this point. Definitely looking forward to more episodes. And, you know, just from my side, appreciate Kevin for you coming on. And
hey, no problem. Anytime you want to have me again, let me know.
Let's do it. But this is the Tread. So appreciate it. Everyone have a wonderful night.